looking at the intro I wrote, and I'm so uncomfy now. But we'll just go with it. In the mood. I was like, man, it's been so long since we've been here. It's been so long since we've been recording, and I was like feeling it, and I was like, oh my goodness, welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back. And I was thinking, like, it's funny to be like, it's good to be back in the studio, even though we're not in the studio. But here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Gabe.
I'm Lauren.
Yes, and this is I Don't Believe in
Side quests.
It is.
We need a jingle.
Yeah. We do. We need a jingle. We really do. But it seemed fitting to finish up the year kind of talking about, or like recapping the games that came out in 2022. We had the episode talking about, upcoming games and games we're looking forward to. So it felt like we should bring it all back around and kind of go over what came out, what's not coming out. I thought it'd be funny to name the episode "The Year of Lies" because of all of the delays.
Yeah,
but we'll get back to that. I think before we dive into that, though, we should let everyone know where we've been. I feel like there's a lot of life updates we could do. You have probably the most exciting life updates.
Yeah. So it has been 6 months, 7 months since we last recorded.
I don't think it's 7 months. Stop. That's a bit
June,
dramatic.
July, August, September, October, November, December.
Okay, shut up. Okay, fine. It's been 7 months.
So, and I am a significant portion of why we did not record for 7 months, because we were last recording in June, and then I started running to all sorts of wedding plans because I was doing a bachelorette that unfortunately COVID got in the way of doing that, and then my wedding happened in early July, and then we had a family vacation. We did a mini moon. My husband's brother got married, and so it has just been truly adventure after adventure. My best friend's getting married in May, so I'm busy planning her bachelorette. One of my husband's groomswomen, she's getting married next year as well. So yeah, I'm at the period in my life when it is wedding season. I am 2 weeks away from being 30, and it is just like wedding after wedding after wedding. Just
COVID
roaming through my life.
A ton of weddings too.
Yeah.
And then like this was like a catch up, and like finally people who were able to get married, because I feel like last year was all postponed weddings.
Right.
So it's been a lot. It's been wedding season for us too. I didn't know you did a family vacation.
Yeah, we went down in Southern Oregon. My husband, his mom's mother, planned for their kids, the grandkids, all of the grandkids' significant others, and so it was just, I think, like 15
That's
of us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was like 3 weeks after our wedding, I think. So we had just spent a lot of time with his family, and then we saw them all again at his brother's wedding in October, and then we'll see them all again when we're down for Christmas.
Right.
So
it was literally a family vacation, not just like you and your immediate family, but like literally.
Vacation, yes, with the in-laws. My first in-law adventure.
Was it good? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
That's good.
We were so we were staying at a place that had a bunch of different rooms, spaces, and then we were staying in this cabin that was kind of a little further away from everyone else, and everyone was just like, oh good, you guys will have some alone time. It did have electricity, but it did not have Wi-Fi, no cell service. It had one of those camping toilets where it's like, it looks like a real toilet, but doesn't
it's just a
flat, like there's no plumbing situation, and there were spiders everywhere, and it had a big the layout of the building was really interesting because it had this big sliding door that kind of slid the bed away from everything else. So,
Right.
but that also enclosed the bathroom. And then
Oh.
also with the bed, there was a big kind of feeding trough that had been turned into a tub.
Oh,
So,
yikes. I don't know how I feel
so
about that
that's
one.
all. So the tub is kind of at the end of the bed, more or less, and then the
Right.
bathroom's right there. And then there's a sliding door, and then there's like a couch and a TV that didn't really work, and a sink. Was it a sink? Might have been a sink. I think yes, it was a sink. And then you could go up into this loft. So you could climb up this ladder to get into the loft.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from the top of the loft, you could see into the bedroom, the tub, the bathroom, because it was up higher than the top of the door, the sliding door, which blocked view from everyone in the couches and the like hangout area. But the loft, if you climbed up, and my sister-in-law tested it, where I sat on the toilet and I looked at her through the slats of glass
That's
in the
so
door, and she and I made eye
sus.
contact from the top of the ladder, and we were like, nice.
Sus. What the hell?
So it was fun. I mean, there were a lot of animals there. There were like donkeys and horses and lots of dogs and chickens, and it was fun. But
I love that.
it was
I love
chaos. Yeah. So
that. Ooh.
my husband had to go and take a nap every day because he used to take naps all the time. And so I was just like, perfection. I will go up there and use the one bar of service, just play on my phone for an hour and a half, just to get my my me time.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a easy like, oh well, he's gonna go take a nap, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I mean, that's my
go with
sister.
him.
She does that too. Every time we're at the cabin, it's like she has to go take. I'm like, where's your stamina? Where's your endurance? Hello.
Gone.
Yeah, like
Non-existent.
you're not a child anymore, but you're not like really old. Like what? I wish. So yeah, well, she gets to go take a nap. I'm the one having to take care of everything else that the parents need.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I
Mm-hmm.
see you, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're definitely. Oh wait, I don't. You moved too, right? I don't know if you said that.
Yeah. No, we we moved a block and a half north of where we had been living.
Still do.
We yes, we moved. It's a bigger space. The front door is no longer behind me, which is
I love that
very
for you.
exciting. I'm quite pleased about the whole thing. Um, but yes, no, we moved to a slightly bigger place, and it was perfect. Our landlord, we told him we wanted somewhere a little bit bigger, and he was like, "Hey, I have one other unit,
Mm.
the two ones I own, and they're moving out, so you guys can go right in if you like it." And we were like, "Solid, doing it." And then his daughter moved into our place, and so anyway, so it all just kind of nestled all in together, and we were like, amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. You're definitely the reason we weren't recording for like probably the first 4 months.
Summer. I accept summer.
Yeah, well, yeah, you had the wedding, you were gone on vacations, you were the bachelorette and all of that, and then you were moving. I remember that, and I was talking to you, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And you were like, "Yeah, we're moving." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I love that for you." And then there was the stress of you kept putting off sending the thank yous. Sorry, I'm calling you out for the
No, that's very true. My
wedding.
My thank you notes. My parents went off to Portugal for an entire month, and my mom was just like, "Okay, well, I'm going to order the thank you notes so that they are here, so that you can send them out when I'm gone." She's like, "I'm going to get them to you before I go. I really want to make sure I get them to you before I go." And I was like,
Yeah.
amazing. And then she came back, and I had not done a single one. And yeah, but I did them a couple weeks ago, and so now my life can actually take off, and I can actually be a functional human being again, because I don't have the crushing weight of like, hi, you have to do this, and you haven't done it, so therefore you cannot do a single other thing going on with you, because you should be doing your thank you notes. But
I feel that.
yeah, so
yeah, And then I definitely, towards the end, did not help. The last 4 months, I've been pretty chronically sick. I've had constant sinus infection, or we just decided, the doctors just decided it's a chronic sinus infection, and I've had a chronic double ear infection.
Ugh.
And EMTs are just booked up the wazoo. Like, I booked it, I think, a month and a half ago, or like a month ago from maybe today, and I not till the 22nd. The 22nd is how, and so, and I had gone through 4 courses of antibiotics. They gave up trying to give me antibiotics because they're like, it's not doing anything for you. There's no point. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't help. It makes me feel worse, the antibiotics, because I was getting all the side effects. I had done steroids. I mean, I have been doing it all for 4 months
Ugh.
to just try and stay somewhat good. You can kind of see the bags under my eyes. I can't get enough sleep. It takes everything in me every day to wake up, go to work, and then make it home. Like, I'm fine when I'm at work, but I feel it when I get home. I'm like, oh my god, my life's been sucked from me. And my parents just look at me and they're like, are you good? Like, Thursday and Friday, I'm not even joking. I'm a zombie. I am not existing. I sleep the whole weekend. So, I've been a struggle. We were trying to record before today for like past 2-3 weeks, and I was like, I had a flare up in my ears, and I couldn't wear my headphones because like they've pretty much been kind of permanently inflamed, but like they don't always hurt as bad, and I'm kind of okay. And then sometimes I'm like, ooh, not today, Satan. So yeah, that's been great. Life's been a struggle. I've been really good on streaming. Like, I've been really consistently streaming and doing well.
Good.
And then it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And now I just try to stream when I can. But
streaming is so cyclical.
yeah,
it's just at some points you're just like, I want to do this all the time. You're feeling good.
Yeah.
You're having a good amount of your returning viewers and your friends that are coming back, and you're like, all right, we're all in sequence. And then like a few people stop watching or stop hanging out because they've got stuff come up in their lives, and then from there the energy just kind of like drops, and then you're like, well, maybe I'll kind of back up a little bit, like maybe I'll focus on doing some other things, or you just get excited by other things, or you maybe get burnt out by the whole thing, and so then you kind of slow down, and then and then at some point
I feel that
a game comes around that you get really excited about, and so then you want to start streaming all the time, and then your energy comes back, and that energy is infectious, and then everyone wants to come in and watch you, and so it's interesting.
It is. I feel that. And then like when you're sick and already not feeling good, when there's the drain of maybe not a whole lot of, it's not really like wanting a lot of people to show up. Like, I do it for fun. I'm happy with what I get. But when you don't have a lot of interaction in the chat and you're already low on energy, not feeling great, that's when it gets really hard. Because I used to, when I first did it, like, I was fine. I could stream for hours and just talk to myself, and I was chilling. That's probably how I got my first 200-300 followers, was because way back when I used to stream, I could just, I was fine. And now I'm like older, and my energy gets so sucked into other things that when I finally have the time to stream and want to, I need the little bit of boost of people in the chat. And when there's not, I know I'm just not doing great. And then even more recently, I feel like I'm a little more, like, I'm even less energy. And people are like, ooh, yikes. And I'm like, I just have to remind myself, I just do it for fun. It's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, if Twitch is not your job, right, and you're not getting anything significant monetarily from it, and if it's just a hobby to you, then it's just like, okay, well, I could be, concerned about numbers, or I could be concerned about all these different things. I could be concerned about my schedule. I could really want to do this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I'm here for fun. Like, some people who enjoy watching me on a certain day, they will watch somebody else. Like, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I can come back next week and try again, or I can switch what I'm doing. Like, ultimately, if it's something that's going to make me excited to be there and excited to stream, then that's what's most important.
Yeah, I agree.
Because ultimately, no one else cares.
True that. I always get the mixed feeling of like I want to be a better content creator, and that like I love streaming because going into those kinds of communities and stuff helped me with my depression and like mental stuff, and like I love that. I love helping people, and I want to be able to help people, like to make their day, to make them feel loved and welcome and like not alone. So in that sense, I sometimes I get really disappointed in myself. But I'm like, I wish I could be better. I wish I could do more. So like, it is for fun, and I'm not doing it because I want it to be my main job or anything. But I wish I could make more of a difference, if that makes sense. And so yeah.
Yeah, I know. I always set a goal for myself to do a charity stream, but
we could do one together.
We could do one together. Maybe that's what we'll do. Because I know a lot of the people who I'm friends with and who are in my community roaming around, and I know where a lot of them have their interests and are putting their money in all of these other places. And so it's just trying to figure out what makes sense for the community that I have. Or should I say, no, you know what, you guys, like other people are doing this, that, and the other. So I don't know if I need to throw my hat into the ring on that necessarily.
I would say, first of all, doing a charity stream, like taking that on is a big endeavor. I've done 3. I'm a super tiny streamer, and I've done 3, and even then, it still feels like a big endeavor because when you're a small streamer, you have the concern of like, what do I do to get people in and to like encourage them? Because it's harder to come up with incentives when you're a smaller streamer. Then when you're a bigger streamer, you have to have like a lot more extended incentives, and I feel like that's a lot harder. And so it's, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, there's different, it's just a lot to take on. And I think, like, I understand, like, that's definitely a very business mindset, or, like, sorry, I'm not trying to say your business mindset, but, like, I appreciate that mindset of thinking, like, what would get my community to help a charity? But I also feel like you also have to think about you. Like, what do you believe in? What do you support? Because then you are fired up about it, right? And so the last one I did was with some of my C3 Thieves friends, and it was for a charity that helped with human trafficking and all of that and stuff. And like, that's something that's really important to me because that's just a huge problem in our world, and it's tragic. It is horrific, the things these people have to go through. And like, that could be any of us at any point. Like, you could go on vacation and get taken and put into that. Like, that's terrifying. That's awful. So anything that's something I really believe in. And so even though, I had a smaller community and it's maybe not something they would have, not that they don't believe in it, but like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's not something they would typically be putting money into. Everyone showed up. If they weren't donating, people were promoting, like putting the stream elsewhere and like being there and being interactive. So I feel like ultimately you have to go with you. What do you, feel very strongly about? Because your energy will inspire other people's. So that would be my advice.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you and I, let's chat about that. Let's,
I'd love to. I love doing that. There's tons of different ways you could do them.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know. Do we have any other life updates, or is that kind of? I feel like that was the main stuff. I was thinking maybe we'd want to wrap it up. Oh yeah, show your fish off. Sorry, show the fish off. I'll go for it.
So, I just wanted to show off the fish that I got this weekend because he's hand carved and he's very cute. I know if you are listening to this, you cannot see him, but he is a wooden hand carved fish and he is very cute. And you can see him if you are watching our YouTube version of this episode.
It's true. It's true. You can listen and you can see it. And you have subtitles on both. I mean, yeah, I like it. I like that we try to be versatile, open to anyone nowadays. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So I already said, why was I saying this is the year of lives? And that's just because, okay, so I don't know if this is true, but like to me, and keeping up with games, this year has felt like the most postponing of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know when COVID hit, we had quite a few postponing of games, but this feels like everything accumulated, and then like this year, it all caught up, and it's just been like, yeah, sorry, this isn't coming out, this isn't coming out, this isn't coming out, and I was like,
and I feel like
okay.
I feel like marketing has chugged on, right? Like
Right.
marketing has continued to be like, well, this is our schedule, we're going to do this, and then we're going to promote this, and then we're going to move on to this, and they haven't necessarily slowed down to understand what the production schedule is.
Yeah. Like there's miscommunications between them. They're like, well, we're just going to keep going. Yeah,
or this
I
is a
see that.
standard. This is a standard timeline of doing this, and they're not, or they at least haven't been necessarily taking that into consideration of, yeah, well, things are a little different. Our timeline's a little different since 2020.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like after the pandemic and COVID, like life in general is just never going to be the same. Like that was such a ripple in everything, and this is just life now.
Well, I think especially with the workforce and with crunching in the tech industry, I think I would be shocked if we went back to a kind of crunch mindset quickly or kind of across the industry. I'd be surprised if we went back to that because I don't think workers put up with that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the workforce has just changed a lot too with the pandemic, and like there's a lot of people wanting to work from home too. Like there's been a huge push, I think, for remote jobs and trying to figure that all out. And yeah, I think we'll be forever changed, for better or for worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I thought we could start with the games we had kind of talked about in the last episode that were not in the last episode, but in the episode when we talked about games that were upcoming and the ones that we were kind of excited about but then got postponed. So I feel like the big one that you and me were both really interested in was Starfield.
Yeah.
And I'll recap. That was it was one of the Bethesda games. It's all in space. It's supposed to be like Skyrim in space. And I don't know if they gave a reason for the delay. It kind of, or like it was very vague, and so it seemed like they wanted to polish the game more. I don't know.
I'm glad that's the impression that you got.
What was the impression you got?
Just we're not done. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, yeah, that too. So
it's a very. I don't know if you've seen the TikTok of. I think there have been multiple TikToks of them, of women or acting like the person who never has anything done at work, and they're always just like, oh, yeah, no, that deliverable, it's almost done. It's really close to being done. We'll sync on it next week, and like just always pushing it off because you're, didn't quite finish that. Keep it on the list. Really close. That's the vibe I get.
Oh, okay. I mean, fair enough. That could be. I know they delayed their other game too, Redfall,
Mm-hmm.
So it's totally possible. I know they're supposed to finish these games before they even touch the next Skyrim. So like, hopefully they
Mm-hmm.
get it together because that just further extends till, or not, sorry, not the next Skyrim, but the next Elder Scrolls comes out. So
The
that's
next Skyrim. I mean,
that's pretty funny. Well, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean.
I get it. I would call it the next Skyrim because that's the only
It's
Elder Scroll I've played.
oh well, I've played all of them, but Skyrim is the one I usually talk about with people. I think, or maybe Oblivion too.
Hmm.
I don't know. It was just what I was thinking. Forspoken was one of the other ones we had talked about. Um, the recap: I
Oh,
was a young New
dragons.
Yorker transported to Athia, and there looks to be a lot of magic fun creatures like dragons. That was also additional polish and improvements. Pretty much the overall comment on why things were delayed was that.
I
Uh,
wonder if that's. I wonder if a specific type of game developer, like a specific, like I don't know if a test one or like a specific type of game developer. I wonder if they all switched industries or you know
oh, maybe.
because like I could see like piece of that breaking down where they've got their core people who are still
Right,
working on it and still happy, but then maybe the
right.
ones who do, the finishing touches or like specific pieces of it, maybe a group of those people trampled off elsewhere.
I mean, I think that's a good thought. It's a valid thought. Intriguing. Because, yeah, who knows? All I think about when I hear this is like when you like quit a subscription or something and it shows you the checklist and it's like, why are you doing this? Please select one of them. And all of these developers were like, okay, selecting the one that says need more polish. And you're like,
Totally.
okay,
I just think it's
right.
just such a PR, like, it's good. We want it to be great.
We
So,
want it to
we,
be
for
better for you.
you, this is for you because we love you.
It's almost like gaslighting. And
That's how
they're
I
like,
feel. It's almost
I
done.
love that.
We're just putting a little shine on it, a little shimmer, throwing some glitter on it for you. We love you guys. And we want you to be
Oh,
happy.
we,
You know what would make me happy? Playing the game. Okay?
yeah, honestly, it would make me happy if we just had the game. I'm really sad about this one, Sons of the Forest. I have played the Forest since the beginning, since beta, okay? I love that game
We talked
so
about
much.
co-streaming some of the forest together, right?
Oh, yes! Yeah, because were we gonna prepare for the new one? We still can. I'm so about that.
We still can. It's
I've
been
played
pushed
this
out.
game. I know. I've played this game so many times. I've played through all the iterations from when they've added things and changed things. I mean, I love that game. And it still gets me. I still get scared. Cannibals are scary. The dark caves and the
Sure, sure,
cannibals
sure,
are
sure, sure.
scary. Um, I am still. I don't think this is how it's gonna be, but I am still hopeful. Timmy is the main character of Sons of the Forest. Like it doesn't have to be a direct sequel, but I still kind of hope he's kind of in it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'll understand if we play and you see the ending. I feel like you'll feel
Well,
similar thoughts.
I feel like the title "Sons of the Forest,"
Right? Like it
right?
would make sense.
Okay,
I'm
it makes
just
sense to
saying.
me. I'm tracking you.
Yeah. I feel like it has to be when you called it that. Like when I saw it, when they finally showcased it and they were like Sons of the Forest, I was like, Timmy,
I
my
know a
main
son.
man.
I got him.
I know. It's like Timmy. Um these guys gave a different response. They were like, we were being overly ambitious about the initial release date. So
That's true. I
but it
believe
was like
that.
it's like a rewording though of what everyone else was saying. It was like they tried to make it like they were trying to take the blame. They weren't quite
Yeah.
gaslighting us.
I mean, it's definitely also a PR way of saying it, but
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
they're just saying, "Hey, yeah, we,
I feel
you
like
know,
they're owning it.
yeah."
Yeah,
And again, that says to me, "Hey, we were marketing this based on pre-COVID scheduling,
yeah,
and we have come to the conclusion that there is no way that's happening. So, we were overly ambitious. We're gonna keep trucking."
yeah, yeah. I respect it. I'm excited. I hope it's good. Honestly, so I hope it's not quite like what the Forest was when the Forest came out, because that was like, it wasn't bad. It just was super super base game. Like,
Mm,
there wasn't a whole lot.
mm,
So I'm hoping, like, it doesn't have to be, what the Forest was at when it was finally fully released. I'm
yeah,
okay if we're still getting some like early game stuff, but I hope there's
yeah.
a little bit more than what the Forest was initially. I mean, the Forest held me because you knew it had so much potential. You knew what it was building up to, so I stayed with
Mm.
it. But I am a little hopeful we get a little more in the game.
Well, I feel like since it's a sequel, or since it's a part 2 or part 1.5 or
They
whatever it
actually have
is,
stuff to work from, and not
right? And they
just,
know
yeah.
what the players want to see, versus if
Mm-hmm.
the Forest, they were just like, maybe this, maybe that. Let's try this. Let's give them that.
They might be a bigger team now. I don't know if they were like a
Mm.
super small team in the beginning, which is totally possible, and that's why it was
Is it their
slower.
first game?
I feel like it could have been. I can look. I That was something I didn't pay too much attention to, but a lot of like
Sorry,
my
not to
no, you're
trivia
good.
question you.
I don't remember if we talked about this one in that episode, but the Outlast trials. Um, I I don't know if it was actually supposed to come out this year or
Hmm.
what was going on. I was under the I might have been, I don't know. I was under the impression it was supposed to come out this year,
Okay.
but I don't know if like I was just being dumb reading whatever
Hmm.
people were telling me. They did do the closed beta. I think it was the end of October. It was like the last weekend of October to like November 1st or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't play it. I didn't play it. I'll confess. Okay, but I watched people play it because I love the Outlast games. I
Yeah.
love the original Outlast. I thought that was a chef's kiss horror game. It was so good. It was such an experience. I will never forget it. Well, first it depends where they're going with it, right? Because the original Outlast, you're in this terrifying asylum. Clearly, all these patients have been experimented on. Like, there's stuff wrong with them.
Hmm.
You don't know if they're going to come for you. You have the atmosphere of, like, most of the time you're using a freaking camera with night vision. And you're like, I'm not afraid of the dark. The thing that the dark gets me with is not knowing like what's there, what's in it. So it's not the dark itself, it's the unknown, right? And I feel like the Outlast was really good at using that atmosphere of the unknown. And then of course you have the three kind of main people who are like stalking you throughout the game. And you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. But when I was watching the closed beta, right, they were using like I feel like that kind of energy, that kind of tension and anxiety. But it was like there was like puzzles, kind of, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, and like quests and objectives and stuff that you were doing, and I could see where having multiple people would be nice. I mean, you're supposed to be capable of doing a single player and multiplayer, but it just go ahead. What's your question?
So, is it like Dead by Daylight style multiplayer, or is it like a longer form multiplayer game?
Longer form, it was kind of giving me like Back for Blood, or like not Back for Blood.
Okay.
What's the original called?
Don't know.
Back for Blood was the sequel to whatever. I feel awful for those people who love that franchise. I'm so sorry. Left for Dead. Left for Dead.
Left 4 Dead.
There we go. Left for Dead. It's like those kind of vibes where you have like missions and it's like long form mission. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily if it's story driven per se, but there's long. Well, I think it is. I think there is some overarching story because there's like a reason why you were where you were, and like it was a whole thing.
Oh, I've been playing Vermintide, so yeah, I understand the concept
Yeah, you know what I'm
very
saying.
well. Yes,
And
because
I
my
just
husband and his brother and his best friend have decided to play a lot of games like that, where it's just a little
right,
group doing their little missions. And
yeah,
because they don't have a fourth person who is routinely there. They do, actually, because it's me. So
It's now you.
it's now
Congratulations.
me. And so, sporadically, they'll bring in some other friends and be like, oh, well, this guy wants to play, so we're going to have him come in. But the main core missions, they play with me. And so
That's all you.
they are carrying me, and I'm just running around, just healing or seeking out or hanging back to ensure that somebody's back is covered. And so I'm a happy little support character, and it's very cute. I'm having a great time because I would never play these on my own.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is like I feel like it's so much more fun to share the experience with friends. I love co-op games, multiplayer games, and Outlast. Like if it's actually scary, I feel like it's so much more fun to get scared with your friends than it is to get scared of alone.
Yeah.
For Halloween, I had a bunch of my friends come over. Porter's, Panda, and Walker. Like they flew in for Halloween, and I drug everyone and some of my IRL friends to a haunted house.
Oh my
and,
gosh,
like,
so fun.
I didn't even get scared because I was too busy laughing over them getting scared. And like my one friend's like hanging onto my backpack. It's my IRL friend Emma. She's literally clinging to my backpack in a ball, and like I carried her through like all of the haunted houses, and she's like, ah! And one of the best parts was towards the end. It was this zombie one, and there was a zombie like hanging from the fence, and she was like leaning over everyone, and she was like to my friend Panda, who has super huge curly fluffy hair. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's a lion's mane. She's like, "Can I have your hair?" And we all just hear Panda go, "Yes."
Oh no.
I was dying the whole time. Me and Walker in the front, just laughing. We would see people and be like, scared people in the middle, like pointing them back. Because Emma and Panda are in the middle, the most scared of all of us. And we're like,
get them. Get those ones.
yeah. And they're like, okay. It was so good.
Roger.
I love that. I love that. So, that's exciting. Vermintide, all of those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
The next one. I don't even remember if we talked about it in that episode. If we didn't, I'm truly disappointed in ourselves. I love Legend of Zelda. I love Breath of the Wild. So, I feel like we didn't talk about it, in which case I'm super disappointed. But Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is Breath of the Wild sequel, was also delayed to 2023. Okay. And bless Nintendo's heart, they were like, well, we don't need to tell you why. It's just delayed. So,
just FYI, this is just truly a heads up.
I'm gonna guess it's just like everyone else. It needs more polish. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Those were like the big ones I think that we kind of talked about. Some other things we kind of mentioned, and like maybe the bigger games I just thought I would list off that were delayed this year was Oxenfree 2, which the first one was really good. I would highly recommend Oxenfree. Deliver Us Mars, Hogwarts Legacy. Was debating if I should bring that up or not with all of the
a little controversial of a topic, but
yeah. So that was also delayed. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, which I know was one we covered in the other episode. Lord of the Rings Gollum, which I didn't know was coming, but I'm excited for. I saw that and I was like, wait, there's Lord of the Rings game?
Tell me about it.
It's like a stealth. It's supposed to be a stealth game, which makes sense.
Oh, because you're a sneaky little Gollum. Okay.
Yeah, you're Gollum. Okay. You're Smeagol. That's all I know. I didn't look too much into it. I don't want to spoil anything, but I saw that and I was like, I love Lord of the Rings. How did I not know? And it was funny because me and my dad had literally just been talking about how they just like messed up not doing more with games for Lord of the Rings.
Totally.
Like you could do so much. It doesn't even have to be the Lord of the Rings. You know, you could do like the Rings of Power. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's so much in that world that you could do.
I wonder if it's there's a copy. Oh, but you mean the brand itself didn't do that?
Yeah, I'm just talking the brand itself. Yeah.
I want to play a Lego Lord, do they have Lego Lord of the
They
Rings?
do. I have that. Yeah. Yeah. I think they have one for the Hobbit too. But the Lord of the Rings Lego I really enjoyed.
Okay, I want to play that.
It's like a three. There's these. Who connected all of the You know how in the Lego games you have like the cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
They put all of the cutscenes together. It's like 4 hours for the trilogy, the Legos trilogy. All of the cutscenes put together is like 4 hours. I was like, oh my goodness,
that's amazing.
I love that. Yes, and then apparently there's an Avatar game that was supposed to come out this year. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. That's also been delayed. But I thought that was interesting because I felt like Avatar 2 came out of nowhere. I feel like I was not even remotely thinking about, like, I'd given up on an Avatar 2 movie, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like, oh yeah, so Avatar 2, and I was like, what?
What?
That was interesting.
I think it's really interesting, because did the movie already come out?
I think it's in theaters now, right now.
Okay. It's mid-December, FYI. So
I mean, that tracks. It came out like New Year's, the original.
Yeah. I think it's, and I know it's probably out of their control that the game wasn't done by the time the movie was coming out. But oof, it feels like a big miss because I feel like now is the hype time, and I don't know if the Avatar conversation, I don't know how long that's gonna go.
Like, will the hype still be there when they're finally able to get the game out?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
Agreed. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, they're kind of missing out on the hype. Especially if you think about it. The first Avatar came out in 2009.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that crazy? It came out around the same time, I'm pretty sure, because I remember seeing it New Year's Eve. And I'm like, think how long that is. I feel like everyone gave up in like 2015, 2016. We were just like, okay, at this point, how can there be an Avatar 2? And then I feel like there was no, like, maybe I was blind, dazed, and confused, nowhere to be seen, but I felt like there was no promotion, no inklings. Like, I felt like I was just sideswiped that there was an Avatar 2.
Yeah, I don't think they, because I feel like for that kind of movie, I feel like we would have heard about it for like 3 years as they were filming it and editing it and doing all these things for it. But yeah, I really feel like in the past, at least in the past year, if not the past 6 months, is really when we've been hearing about it. But maybe it's just been quietly in places that I just have not been around.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm like, where has this been that I missed it? And apparently they already confirmed and have been working on Avatar 3. Like,
they move in shadows. I love that for them.
What?
They're like, we're just vibing.
Wild. That's absolutely wild. So yeah, I felt like I had to mention that.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a couple Star Wars games. Star Wars Hunters, I kind of recognize. I talked about Redfall. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. I felt like we had talked about it, so I want to bring that up again. Apparently, there's a Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. Didn't know about that. I was like, where did this come from? And like a ton. There's so many sites with just long lists of games delayed, and I was like, okay. And then kind of the last one I really wanted to bring up, Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah.
It was I remember I think you remember me talking about it. The first-person shooter survival horror. It was really important to me because it was developed and published by Ukrainian game developers. When we had last talked about it, was kind of when the Russian invasion had started.
It was really early in that, so everyone was talking about Ukraine.
Yeah. So, an update for that. It was previously planned for April 2022. Obviously, didn't happen because of the invasion, and I think they had initially delayed it kind of when that started going on to December 8th, but it was then further delayed to 2023. Like we said, the studio is based in Ukraine, forced pause development due to the ongoing Russian invasion, and some of the development team had volunteered for the armed forces to go defend the country. So that's kind of where we're currently at for it. Thoughts and prayers for them.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I'm I'm impressed that they even thought they'd be able to get it done in December, but given
Well,
all
they
of
had,
the stuff going on.
I think if I remember right, they had been like evacuated kind of early on, like when things were going rough. They had been able
Mm-hmm.
to get out, and they were in a different country. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why they were like, well, we can keep working on it. But then they were like, no, we need to go help our country. And
Yeah.
like, I respect that. So
Well, I think everyone thought it would be
I don't think anyone thought
over.
it would be what it would be. Yeah.
I think people were just like, well, we're going to shame Russia and then they're just going to back off. Or like,
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
no one was anticipating things would still be not fixed, I guess, to say mildly.
So that was that. Um, I felt like to spice it up, not spice it up, but to bring some joy back after thinking about all the depression of all these games being delayed. We could talk about what actually did come out and what we did
Yes.
get to enjoy and play. Steel Rising was the one I was originally most excited for when we were talking about it. And I did
Yes.
play it. I didn't
Okay.
finish it
Okay.
because of the sickness issues, right?
Sure,
But
sure,
I
sure.
got a good way through it.
When did it come out?
So I don't remember, man.
Summer?
You're asking so much of
Summer?
this. No,
Spring? Fall?
September maybe,
Okay.
October. It's
Okay.
one of them. I think it was September. That was the one that took place in Paris, 1789. It was the revolution, and it was being suppressed with bloodshed by King Louis and his merciless mechanical army. And you're the automaton Aegis. I freaking loved it. It was okay. So it was like Dark Souls, right? I don't really
Oh,
like Dark
okay.
Souls. I'm not a masochist. I don't want to go fight a boss for a bajillion hours and take forever to do it and hate myself.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like I don't want to say it was an easier Dark Souls because it wasn't that it was easier. It was just different, and it wasn't so masochistic trying to fight the bosses. And I think I actually was more invested in the story and like what was going on, and like it was so fun being the automaton. You were so just like you were like a tigress. You're so lithe and agile. And like I had the fans class, so I'm like dancing around with my fans, killing hoes, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I wish I could do this in real life.
Oh my gosh,
So
I want to play it.
I enjoy it. I would recommend it because it's not as the level of Dark Souls. I feel like it's a lot more
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable and could capture a wider audience because yeah, I would recommend. I would highly
And you
recommend
get to
that
play
one.
as a lady.
I think you can technically be a guy. I don't remember. It was a long time since I created my character, but I think you could be either gender, but I'm not 100%. But there was some customization of your automaton. Like it wasn't a lot, but I feel like there was enough where you could feel, connected to your character.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would enjoy it. Again, I would recommend that one.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
I felt like I had to bring out the devil in me. I feel like we didn't talk about that in the episode either for whatever reason. Or maybe we did. I don't know. This is also one I have to say I didn't play. I've played every Dark Pictures anthology game. I played The Quarry. I played Until Dawn. But when they showed the trailer for this and I saw who it was about, I don't like body mutilation. I don't like torture. And a lot of people are like, well, but it's scary. And I'm like, well, it's not. It's not the right
It's
kind of scary.
gross.
It's horrific because it's true. Because that actually happens to people, and that is tragic to me. It breaks my heart. I
Mm-hmm.
can't watch it. It makes me sick to my stomach. And I was like, I don't know if I can play this game. So I started off by I'll just watch some of it first and see like where they go. I ended up watching the whole thing because it kept seeming like they were gonna cross the line, and I was like, I can't play this on stream
Mm-hmm.
live and have to deal with this. Like I have to know what's gonna come.
Yeah.
So Yeah. Um. Oh, I. In my notes, I was like, I should probably state I'm super biased. I feel like I've talked about this before in the podcast. I love Until Dawn, just like Outlast. I think that's a prime horror game, one of the best.
Yeah.
I can't praise it enough. So I have really high expectations when it comes to the Dark Pictures anthologies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be Until Dawn, but they can't be a flop. Like, they have to.
Sure.
So,
Who is the celebrity guest in this one? Was there
there a
one?
celebrity guest?
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
there
I
usually
actually. Yeah, sometimes I don't think I actually recognized any of them. Like, I recognized some of them from being characters in other ones of the games, but there wasn't, like, how like Ashley Tisdale was in,
are. Right,
was
right.
it House of Ashes or whatever. I don't think I recognized
And then
anyone like
Brenda's
that.
song was in.
The Quarry, that wasn't Dark Pictures, but yeah, she was in The Quarry.
Oh, that's right.
It's still the same company. I get what you're saying though. Well, yeah, because I mean, Until Dawn had Hayden. Oh, what's her name? Petiers or whatever.
Panettiere, yeah.
Yeah, and like, so I get what you're saying. And it had the one guy from Night at the Museum too.
I'm just looking at the cast.
Yeah. So I watched it, and it was so sad because in the beginning, it felt like it had so much potential. It had some really spectacular atmospheric moments where just like you felt the anxiety and the tension, and like I feel like that's good horror, not a cheap jump scare, but like when you're just like on edge, and there's so much
hair
you
on
can
the
do.
back of your neck is just
Yeah,
up straight.
yes, and there's so much you can do with that when you can get people to feel that way. Like, so I felt like they did really good there. And then the game kept going and going, and I was like, first of all, ma'ams and sirs, the whole point of the Dark Pictures anthology was this was supposed to be like a movie night experience you could have with your friends. Like, it was supposed to be short. This is not Until Dawn. Why are we going on 6, 7, 8 hours first playthrough to play this? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even good prolonged was the other issue too. Like, so much of that could have been cut out and condensed, and it would have done better. So that's my first huge critique. Right? Okay, so not only did they elongate it, they then rush the ending. How can you play for time and then be like, oh, yeah, so here's the ending? Ma'ams, sirs, no good. I feel like they could have done so much more at the ending, and it would have been better.
How very Nancy Drew Curse of Tapu Cave of them to make the entire game just like, you're doing stuff, you're hanging out, and then the ending is a 5-minute long cutscene of them explaining, oh, this is what happened and this is why it happened.
Yeah.
You don't get to find that out, but like, just so you know, this is the explanation. That one is vibes. Pure vibes.
It really is. It really is.
Content.
But it gave, isn't that where the Tiki song is from? That's from
It is. It totally, it's good vibes.
It gave myself
It's good vibes.
It is. It's something.
Story? No. Plot? Minimal. The Hardy Boys are fishing and collecting shells and flirting with the surfer girl. Nancy's breaking in to labs to steal
buildings.
Secret buildings and getting chased around. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, it was having those kinds of vibes. And then I think of all the games, I felt the least connected to this cast. Like, I gave the least amount of shits about their lives. I wasn't playing, but I was also like, pretty much every game, I felt very like I want to keep everyone alive or as many people as possible.
You
But
know,
this one, I
you
was
do
like,
like to keep people alive. I would like to keep people alive. I would not say I'm successful at doing so.
well, that's okay. Maybe we can co-op this one, and I won't be upset if you kill everyone.
Okay, amazing.
Oh
Gabe and I
no.
played. Which one did we play?
We played Man of Medan, and I thought we played two.
We might have played the other one. Yeah,
Did we play Little Hope or did we play House of Ashes? Maybe we Little Hope, I think.
I think we played Little Hope.
Yeah, I thought we played two of them.
And then we
Cause,
didn't play House of Ashes. We were supposed to,
yeah,
and we didn't. But yeah,
yeah,
so we
because
played
Little
Man of
Hope.
Medan, and is that the one where I accidentally killed 3 people off in the space of like 5 minutes?
I think so.
I think so.
We were doing so good, and we got to the end, and you fucking threw it all out the window. You were just like, everyone's dying. I was like,
Gabe was like, Lauren, what is happening?
I think I played that game did I play it by myself first or did we play it on release? I think I played it by myself first or with someone else. And like I kind of did okay. It was pretty good. And then I played with you and I was like, well, this will be fine. It was not fine. It was anything but it was that one. Yes, I remember it now. It was right towards the end. We were almost there and you were just like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. And I was like, what are you doing? Why can't I help? Like, what is going on?
It was all the quick time events. I was choosing all of the wrong answers in the conversation because I didn't know.
It's fine. It's fine. And the best part was like, you were coming from like a good place in your heart, especially like when you're doing conversational answers. You're like,
just trying to
this
help.
makes sense. And then all of a sudden the character would go way off from what you thought they were gonna do, and you're like, wait, what?
I'm really bad at predicting plot points. Because I'm like, ooh, I think I know which direction we're going. It rarely is. I am rarely pointing in the right direction.
It's fine. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, they did add. Okay, I thought this was cool. They added a new mechanic. Each character had their own specific tool to help them solve puzzles.
Ooh.
Like, that was interesting. They didn't do a whole lot with it, which is a little disappointing. Okay. But I felt like it spoke of potential because that was the finale of season 1, right? So then we're going to get season 2 starting at some point next year. So I felt like it had potential for what future games would have, and that was exciting.
Maybe they were seeing how people liked it before kind of going all in.
That's fair.
I mean, it takes it's not easy to create a bunch of puzzles that can only be done with specific this and specific characters, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no idea how they design those games to be so movable depending on the characters. I think that's fascinating how they tie all of it together. So I'm always very impressed with what they do.
I love that for you. You're like, yes.
Yay, stories.
They also had the Quarry come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Until Dawn. I can't remember anything, so I don't even know if that means I liked it or not. Like, I remember the game, but I don't remember my feelings on it. So it was either so bad, I blocked it all out. I thought it was okay.
It was fine. It was another one where it was long. And there was a lot of... I think the beginning part was really long before things really started happening. So I think once you got into people being kidnapped or people disappearing or whatever, I think that was fine. But there was a lot of character building, I guess, that happened at the beginning where people are having to like make choices to determine relationships, which would then affect later things later on. And I think a lot of people were just like, I'm ready for spooky scary, and then had to spend like 2 hours being like, oh, well, I'm going to be mean to her. And then my little dial is going to say, vengeful. Like that was like kind
Yeah,
of the first 2 hours is making those kind of character decisions. So I think if you're playing
which
with
really
multiple
affects,
people,
right.
that's fun. But if you're playing just by yourself, you're like, okay.
Right. So I think it was above a Dark Pictures anthology because when they do that, like you actually affecting the relationships, it
Mm-hmm.
affects how things happen later on and what you can do later on. So as frustrating as it is a good build up for how you can just completely mess yourself over at the end or
Totally.
save yourself. And I felt like in that one, I connected more to the characters. I cared more. I think I pretty much liked them all. So that was good.
Yeah,
I
I think
liked
if
the
you're,
vibes. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, if you're going into it with the mentality of like, ooh, I'm going to build my characters, and then that's going to, like, if you go in kind of understanding that,
Right.
and are willing to take the time and are like, nope, this is all good. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
just walking through, we're going slow. I think so many people are playing it in October, and I don't
Right. So
think
they want the
really
spooks right away.
they wanted the spooks right away. They wanted to like make bad decisions because it was, adding a little more spice, a little more fun at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so I think the slowness of it, yeah, if you're happy with that and you understand what's happening and you understand why it's happening, it's fine. But if you're going in just like, this is supposed to be a scary game, it just takes a little bit to unravel.
Well, part of it too could be the expectation of I don't think it was quite like that in Until Dawn. Like you had the character building, but there was still enough like
Mm-hmm.
ambiance and atmosphere. Like even if you weren't getting full on scared right away, which I think there were still some pretty good scares in the beginning. Like you were still
There's the
kept,
pig.
yeah, yeah, you were still hooked though. You're still kept in. So
Mm-hmm.
like they maybe the Corey missed out a little on that. I thought the premise was cool and interesting. I like that we had the fortune teller instead of this like psychologist or therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Although I really miss the curator. I love the curator. I
He's
would
very cool.
in I don't know what the word is, but since I say I'm gonna smash someone every episode, that's my man for this episode, the curator. So it's not the actor who played him, but he's based off of the bad guy in Terminator 2. And I'm
Mm.
like he's like an older version of that. I would smash. I love his freaking intro song, Oh Death. Love it for
It's
him.
so good.
It
Yeah.
is. So I
Yeah.
heavily missed him in the quarry, but I was
Mm-hmm.
also like, he can't really be here, so like I get it. And the fortune teller was interesting. The tarot cards that you had to find,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like the tiki things, like totems you found in Until Dawn. Like the vibe of the tarot cards was really cool and interesting, and then
Yeah.
choosing which one you want her to give you more info about was I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put it above Dark Anthologies. I would put
Okay.
it below Until Dawn though. Like it's not
Mm.
there, but it was good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
We have two more, and then we have to get to yours. We're already in. I'll just quickly talk about Stray. Stray didn't finish. I loved what I did though. I was living my best life as a cat. I love you can fully live your best life as a cat. I mean, it was pulling on your heartstrings, but it seemed like in the best ways it was doing it, and it just it was unique. I like those simulators where I feel like it feels accurate and you really are that. And I felt like they put a fun twist on platforming kind of games. I hate
Mm.
platforming games. I'm sorry. It's not for me. I can appreciate them and I can enjoy them. I can enjoy people watching them, but when I have to do it, I'm like, why would I do this to myself? But this was like Mario vibes. Like I loved Mario. I don't know if you'd say Mario is a platforming game, but there's definitely levels
Mm-hmm.
where you were doing that kind of stuff, and I loved it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And like you had the overarching story, but then you had all these tiny little minute details within where you could do little things. And like, I loved it. I don't know if you played it. Did you?
I didn't.
You need to.
Didn't.
I didn't finish it, but I can tell you need to.
Okay. It was, yeah, it's on my list. I know, I'm aware enough of it that I know it's very soothing. You know me, I like soothing, cozy games.
Yes, yes, I do. And then this one, I just wanted to touch on, or I had to talk about it. Overwatch 2. All right, I remember when Overwatch, the first one came out, just Overwatch, right? It was huge. It was popular. It was like when I first started playing with like people online and not just playing by myself. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, Overwatch is coming out," and I was like, "What is this?" Like, when I was a noob gamer, learning about the whole big wide world where everyone exists. Okay,
Aww.
I mean, like I knew it was there because like I did RuneScape, but anyways, besides the point, right? It was the rave. Like Overwatch, I felt like was such a gaming phenomenon, right?
Hmm.
And then in 2019, I was at BlizzCon because I loved World of Warcraft. And I went there with friends, right? And they had demos for Overwatch 2. They had it for the PvP and for the PvE. And the PvE, I was like, dude, this is so cool. Overwatch with a campaign. Because I wasn't quite into shooter games yet. I wasn't so much FPS. But the thought of the campaign, I was like, this is so much fun. It was cool. The story seemed interested, right? So excited. I've been waiting since then. I was like, hello, Overwatch 2. Girl, where are you? I'm waiting, right? It finally come out. We don't have the PvE yet. That's coming in 2023. But we did get Overwatch 2. And it was like, it felt like a reemergence of Overwatch, you know? Like, they'll never completely recapture the magic of when Overwatch came out. But it, you know, it gave the vibes, you know?
Yeah.
I felt the nostalgia. It was mixing, I feel like, the good parts of the old content, but we were also getting new content. They changed the format to 5v5, which I kind of like. I feel like it gives more meaning to the tank because instead of having one, you know, two tanks, you now have one tank, and like they are really having to be the damage sponge. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are actually having to tank. And then overall, it kind of just gives more importance to every player in each match. Like you are actually a key member of the team. And so I like that. I like 5v5. I like this, you know, the one tank, the 2 or 3 DPS, and the 1 or 2 support characters. So that was cool. And then they changed it to it's free to play. And then they added having the battle pass, right? So instead of the paywall being you buy the game, the paywall is the battle pass, but it's not like you pay to win. It's just pay for cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. So those were my big ones. Would you like to talk about your guys? You have to talk about the bunny game.
I know. So when we were talking about games we were excited about, I believe I was talking about Bunhouse, which is a little bunny game where you get to have a little greenhouse and your little bunny running around in the woods, and you grow your plants and water and fertilize and give them the correct amount of sun, and then they grow, and then you can sell them for carrots, and then you can use the carrots to buy more plants and decorations for your greenhouse, and you can build levels, and you can add all of these fun things and dig in the woods for different seeds and just really expand your garden and your greenhouse. And you can play it with friends, so that's
I love
really
that the
fun
currency is carrots.
Yes.
I love that.
And there are birds that come and deliver all of your little products, and they have a little moving van, and it's very adorable. I have to play it with the controller because I tried to play it with the mouse and keyboard, and I rage quit because I kept doing things incorrectly, and then plants kept dying, and it was driving me bananas.
Oh
So I was
no.
like, okay, I have to play something else because all of my plants keep dying because I didn't do them or handle them correctly, and I keep doing things correctly because I don't know the controls. And when you get achievements, you unlock new little hats,
Oh
so you
yeah, the
can wear little
hats.
hats, and you can change your appearance anytime you wish. So you can change between 5 or 6 different, or no, I think what, 10 to 15 different markings, of different browns and whites and splotches and blacks and whatever. And then you can also change how your ears look. And so you can just change yourself anytime, any day of the week, any hat that you wear.
I think that's amazing. I like having instant customization. Like, what if
Yes.
I just suddenly have a mood? I want to be
Right.
able to change in the moment, just like I can in real life. Okay,
And you don't have
I
to
love
like
that.
go into a menu. Like it's so easy to
Yeah,
switch through and be like, nope, I want different ears. It's literally a click of a button to
yeah,
put different ears on. Yeah, it's wild. It's
amazing.
very, very fun. I don't play a lot of new games in general, so I was kind of looking through to see what I've even played that's from this year. I've played a few hours of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, where you are a child who has grown up on a spaceship and you finally land, and now you're running around as one of the first children on this new planet that your entire spaceship is now turning into a colony. I believe after we're a child, we become a teenager and we move on. But so it's a very good game. It's very, very beautiful. It's thoughtfully done. In the first couple hours, one of the other children dies, and so you go to a funeral, which I was just not anticipating. Sorry, spoiler alert, but I was just happily playing along, and then all of a sudden, one of our friends died, and I was like,
What
"Excuse me,
the?
what is happening?" So I went to a
Oh,
funeral. I was very upset. I One of the other games I played was Cult of the Lamb, and I know that was a very popular game
yes.
that came out this year. So that's probably the most popular of the games that I played this year. It's very enjoyable. If you stream, you can have your Twitch viewers come in and join your cult as you run around, and you're a lamb. And so if you've played Hades or any of that style of game, that's what the dungeons are like. But then
Okay.
you go around and build relationships with your cult, and you do all sorts of wild things. Like you can set up so that you get extra affection points from them if you sacrifice one of your cult members. And so it's all very tongue in cheek, goofy, but you are for sure a bad guy. And I think that's really fun that you are working for a bad demon, and all of the so called good gods who were trying to get rid of you because you were a bad guy, they're like, what? What do you mean you're back? And you're running around defeating them. So you're kind of being a soldier for evil. And I
I
just think that's fun because
that
it's
is.
very cute. It's very, very cutely drawn and cutely animated, but then you're just doing horrific acts.
I really want to play that game. That's one I haven't been able to get to, but it's definitely on my list of
Mm-hmm.
ones I want to do.
More on the point and click style games. Strange Horticulture, if you are unfamiliar with that game, it's another plant game, so we have a bit of a theme going on. But Strange Horticulture, you own a plant shop, and a variety of people come up to your door and are asking for different plants, and you are trying to classify different plants that you have. You go exploring and find new plants, but you really stay in the same place. I am probably 3/4 of the way through it, so far I've stayed in the same place, and people have just come up to me, and so there's a lot more just words and puzzling, where you're trying to figure out what specific plants are based on a very generic description of what they look like and what they smell like. And so you're trying to figure out so you can provide people with the correct plant that will take care of their ailment or help solve a crime or whatever is coming knocking at your door. And there's some murders that are happening, and so you're helping the police and someone who works with witches and a witch trying to figure out that basically I think a demon got loose, and so you're trying to figure out how to put together the right assortment of plants to trap them or take them back down. So it's interesting. It's another one that kind of starts off slower, right, because you're just kind of, you're figuring out which plants are which, and then all of a sudden all of the storylines kind of start to meld together, and it's kind of moving towards common enemies.
Is it worth it to hang through the slowness? Because that's also one I've looked at.
Yes. Personally, I think yes.
Okay.
I would have been just as happy even if it didn't have the storyline of everything melding together. I think it's fun. For me, it was unexpected that was even going to be part of the payoff. I was just like, okay. Oh, perfect. I am figuring out what plants are happening. And, this person, we have to find them this plant so that they can sleep at night, but there's a ghost in their house. And now we're going to try this thing and see if that works. We're going to try this thing and see if that works. So I was having a great time just doing that. And then all of a sudden when I realized that, hold on, there's something bigger here, it was much more of oh, that's exciting. Okay, we can go on into that. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be there, but I'm very pleasantly surprised that there is more going on than just running the little plant shop. So Lord Winklebottom Investigates is the last game that I wanted to highlight. I would say it's more of an Agatha Christie structure where it's a whole bunch of people. Well, they're not people, they're all animals on an island, and there has been a murder. And then a Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson duo, who are respectively a giraffe and a hippo, show up to investigate, ask questions, interrogate people, and ultimately solve the crime. That one also has kind of a bigger story going on at the end, which is unexpected. So that one was very, very fun as well. I play a lot of point and click mysteries, and I really enjoyed it. The art style is so funny. It's so silly. It's so goofy. It does not take itself seriously at all. And there are lots of jokes, specifically about being animals in there. So if you enjoy mysteries,
what
I recommend
is
it.
Lord Winklebottom? What is
a giraffe?
Oh, he is the giraffe. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. It's good. No, he'll like eat there's a part where they're interviewing somebody in a conservatory, and he'll eat a leaf, and then later the gardener will get mad at him for eating the leaf, and he's just like, sorry.
I'm a giraffe, dude. I eat leaves.
Exactly. So it's very, very silly, and all of the characters in it are very stereotypical. Like, there's this grumpy old lady who's an old actress, and she's a pelican. Oh. And then we have an ostrich. I think she's an ostrich. I don't remember. And she has a crystal ball, and she's like the mystical one. Yeah, so it's very fun. There's a cat and just a ton of different animals that are all making jokes about things that would affect them as that type of animal in different situations.
It actually sounds interesting. And I like that they aren't taking themselves too seriously and using them being animals to create humor.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and they're intending it to be ridiculous.
Right.
So, yes.
I love that. All right, I thought before we end it, we can maybe talk about kind of our thoughts. I mean, I know, so what we still have kind of thought out for upcoming Nancy Drew Season 2 review. which I think will probably be 2 parts. I think any of our reviews of that. At some point, we will do the Nancy Drew season 3 review, and season 4 just finished their last recording yesterday. I think their last filming. So I'm thinking, I mean, we could get it anywhere from January to spring, I think, is when season 4 will come out. It is the final season of Nancy Drew. Sad.
That one we might do episode by episode.
We could, yeah, bring it up a little bit each, yeah, if we wanted to. So that is interesting. Probably in the beginning of 2023, we'll do like what we did of looking into the year, what's to come, what are we excited for, and all of that. I think that's interesting. You start the year off what's there and ending with that.
It's good for me to know at least, because otherwise I won't know.
Fair enough. That's fair. But then, yeah, 2022, I felt like it was a solid year. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It was just a solid, we made it. I mean, it might have been great for you. You accomplished a lot. I hope it was great for you. Congratulations again on the marriage.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was, there was a lot going on. It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was
one for the record books, that's for sure.
like I said, for better or for worse. Not sure if we'll get another episode out. So if we don't before the end of the year, Happy New Year's to everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, nenyaadamas. Lauren goes by sweetie_patat. Also Twitch, Twitter. Is it Instagram and YouTube? Nope, just Twitch and Twitter. We cut it there.
Just Twitch and Twitter.
And we'll work on doing more for our Twitter for I don't believe in side quests. But I think pretty much our handle is no side quests. Twitter, Instagram. Not Instagram. Twitter's our big one. Go check us out. Much luck to you all. Thank you all for the support. 59 downloads as of right now. 59 downloads for the podcast.
Woohoo!
It's a feels good, man. All right. Signing off.
Bye, guys.